The day I met her, I had no idea my life would change forever. I was a low-level technician on Station C-42, a research outpost orbiting a gas giant in the Epsilon Orionis system. Most of my days were consumed by mundane maintenance, recalibrating airlocks, replacing coolant lines, and occasionally supervising cargo transfers. I was invisible to most of the crew, a background fixture in a world of ambitious scientists, mercenary pilots, and explorers chasing fame or fortune. That invisibility ended the moment I encountered Syrah. She appeared in the storage bay one evening, stumbling out of a cryogenic pod labeled with a language I didn't recognize. Her eyes fluttered open, reflecting the sterile lights above, revealing iridescent amber pupils that seemed to shimmer with curiosity, fear, and hunger all at once. Her skin was pale lavender, smooth, with faint bioluminescent patterns tracing her arms and neck, patterns that pulsed faintly with her heartbeat. Her hair floated in the artificial gravity, long and silver with streaks of pale blue, like liquid moonlight. She did not speak at first, only gazed at me with wide, unblinking eyes. The medical AI beside her beeped and whirred, reporting her vital signs, stable, but weak. I approached slowly, carrying a small pack of nutrient rations I always kept for emergencies. "Do you want this?" I asked, holding out a gel pack. Her response was unexpected. Instead of simply taking the food, she leaned forward, touching the pack with the tip of her tongue. Not to eat immediately, not to inspect, it was a strange, almost ritualistic gesture. Then, after a brief pause, she swallowed carefully. Her eyes stayed fixed on mine, studying me as if evaluating something fundamental about my being. It was at that moment I realized this was no ordinary alien interaction. She had accepted my food in a symbolic way, one that I later learned among her people indicated not just gratitude, but a bond, a contract of life and trust. Before I could process what I had witnessed, the station's communications crackled. Subject Syrah has initiated a bonding ritual. Protocol requires marital union to maintain life force compatibility, the AI stated flatly. My stomach dropped. I glanced at her. Her gaze was unwavering. In the language of her kind, that look meant one thing: she had chosen me. The next days were a whirlwind of chaos and discovery. I had to learn the basics of Syrah's biology quickly, as her metabolism was unlike anything I had encountered. Simple human food was not enough. She needed energy converted in ways that only a human-alien hybrid diet protocol could provide. The station's medical team was furious at the improvisation, but Syrah thrived. Her skin glowed faintly as she absorbed nutrients, and her amber eyes reflected a radiant vitality that no amount of sedation or synthetic nourishment could have produced alone. It wasn't just biology. There was an emotional component to her acceptance of food. Each time I offered her something, even a simple gel pack or water, there was a subtle ritual, a touch, a bow of her head, a hum resonating in her chest that deepened our bond. I felt connected to her in a way that was impossible to describe. The station's leadership did not approve. Commander Veltran, a human with a military bearing and zero tolerance for irregularities, summoned me. "You've bonded with an alien subject in violation of protocol," he said, arms crossed, eyes narrowing. "The ritual you've triggered is irreversible. It demands marriage according to her culture. You are now obligated." I blinked. Obligated? Marry her? I barely even know her. "Her physiology is linked to your life force," Veltran said sharply. "If you refuse, her survival chances drop significantly. You are, effectively, her lifeline." I felt the weight of the situation, the gravity of the alien tradition that now intertwined our fates. I was a simple technician. She was an extraordinary alien being who had just been awakened after centuries of stasis. Yet I could not abandon her. Over the next several weeks, I became more than just a caretaker. I became her partner in survival and adaptation. We moved to a private habitat module, a carefully controlled environment where I could provide her diet and monitor her metabolism. It was strange at first, her alien customs, her ritualized gestures, and the constant hum she emitted when content, but gradually, we developed a rhythm. She learned to trust me. I learned to anticipate her needs. And then there was the unexpected, her curiosity about humanity. She observed me closely, asking questions about simple things I had never considered: why humans laughed, why we touched each other in greeting, why our meals were structured in certain ways. Every interaction with me was a lesson, every glance, a subtle communication. The bond that began with food rituals deepened. I began noticing small things: the way she shivered when a door opened too fast, the subtle pulse in her bioluminescent patterns when she was excited, the quiet hum of contentment when I sat beside her. And then, one night, under the artificial starlight of our habitat dome, she reached for my hand. "I trust you completely," she said, her voice soft but resonant in a way that seemed to vibrate directly through my chest. "In my culture, this confirms the bond. You are now my chosen." I swallowed. Chosen, for what? To share life, she said simply. To bond in ways your species will only understand gradually. To survive. Together. I realized then that the station's warning about marriage was not legalistic, it was literal. Her body required a link to mine for optimal health, and the ritualistic acceptance of food had bound us. The line between obligation and genuine connection blurred rapidly. Months passed. I learned the complexities of her culture and biology. The ritual of eating together became a daily, sacred practice. She would accept food in the precise ceremonial way, sometimes adding small touches to signify approval, sometimes humming softly, a vibration that harmonized with my own heartbeat. Each meal reinforced our connection, deepening trust, intimacy, and understanding. I taught her about human culture, humor, and simple pleasures, tasting chocolate, hearing music, and touching soft fabrics. She marveled at everything, her amber eyes wide with wonder, her bioluminescent patterns pulsing brighter with excitement. We faced dangers as well. The station's research council debated relocating her to a high-security lab. Scientists coveted her for study, unaware of the consequences of separating us. I had to defend her bond, arguing that our connection was essential for her survival. Slowly, the council relented, seeing the unusual but undeniable compatibility between us. And through it all, I realized something profound: the marriage was not just a formality. It was a merging of trust, survival, and mutual respect. What began as obligation had transformed into choice. I chose to care for her. She chose to trust me. One evening, the first after months of adaptation, Syrah stood beside the observation window overlooking the swirling gas giant below. Her silver-blue hair floated gently, her bioluminescent patterns glowing in rhythm with the stars. "Do you truly wish to stay with me?" I asked cautiously. She turned, amber eyes reflecting the cosmos. "I accepted your food in a ritual that demanded union. But beyond that, I choose you, willingly. Not because of tradition, not because of biology, but because you are yourself." I felt a warmth I could not describe. Then, "I choose you too." From that night onward, our bond was no longer a survival necessity or cultural obligation. It was a choice born of trust, affection, and shared life. Together, we navigated the complexities of interspecies understanding, surviving the station's politics, alien physiology, and human bureaucracy. Our connection became a model for coexistence on the station. Scientists studied the biochemical effects of our bond, engineers marveled at how our rituals stabilized her physiology, and crew members slowly adapted to the presence of a harmonious human-alien partnership. And as Syrah and I shared another meal, Performing the ritual of acceptance with care, I realized the truth. What began as a weird, uncomfortable obligation had grown into something extraordinary, transformative, and beautiful. The alien girl who had once depended on me out of necessity now chose me, and I chose her in return. Life aboard Station C-42 was no longer mundane. Every meal, every gesture, every shared moment was a testament to the bond that transcended culture, species, and expectation. And I understood fully, sometimes the smallest act, offering food, can change destinies, linking two lives in ways the universe itself seems to conspire to preserve. We were bound, not by obligation, but by trust, survival, and love. And together, we were unstoppable.